Welcome back, everybody, to Ein Sof Learning. Let's continue in our series on Talmud Eser Sefirot. Again, we are in Chelek Aleph, Perek Aleph, in Ot Gimel, Inyan Nun. We're approaching the end of this particular topic, which is a more in-depth look into the four phases. You should really watch the last few episodes before you start this one, because you will most likely be lost. I'm not going to repeat everything from the last episodes. Not at this point. So let's go ahead and jump in to the material that we have for today. Hine nitbaru dalet habechinot hamechayuvot lehimtza b'kol ne'etzal. The four phases that must exist in every emanated thing have now been explained. Asher bechina aleph mechune hitpashtut rishona or chokhmah, wherein which phase 1 is called the first expansion, or chokhmah. Ubechina bet mechune hitgabrut rishona, or bina. He's saying phase 2 is called the first strengthening. That's bina. Ubechina gimel mechune hitpashtut shniya, or zeiran pin. And phase 3 is called the second expansion, or zeiran pin. Bechina daled mechune hitgabrut shniya, or malchut. And phase 4 is called hitgabrut shniya, or the second strengthening, or malchut. So, just to say that one more time in a more concise way, chokhmah is the first expansion because it's whenever the light expands from the ma'atzil. It's the first instance of expansion. And then bina is called the first intensification because it's the phase where the desire to give awakens. And it begins to extend the light of chasadim to itself. Phase 3 is called the second expansion because this desire to give, which awakened in phase 2, is now expanded greatly. That's the second expansion. The expansion of the desire to give, which means the expansion of the light of chasadim. Because the more you increase the giving, the more you're drawing chasadim. And finally, malchut is called hitgabrut bet because it's the reawakening of the desire to receive that was initially in phase 1. Chokhmah. So malchut is the strengthening or the intensification of the desire to receive in its complete manner. That's why it's called Hitgabrut bet. So again, chokhmah, Hitpashtut aleph, bina, Hitgabrut aleph, zeiran pin, Hitpashtut bet, and malchut, Hitgabrut bet. And these four phases symbolize the four letters in the name of God. Yud, He, Vav, He. These four letters are the four phases. These are Bechina Aleph, Bechina Bet, Bechina Gimel, and Bechina Daled. The Yud is Chokhmah. The He is Bina. The Vav is Zeiran Pin. And the final He is Malchut. But remember that these four Bechinot come from a preceding phase called Bechina Shel Shoresh, which is symbolized by Keter, which is inclusive of all four phases. That crown that you see there in the tree of life, what we call Keter, the first Sefirah, the highest Sefirah, the most Zach, the thinnest or most purified Sefirah, that contains the potential for all four phases. It's the seed. That's a better way of putting it. Because that's really what Keter is. Keter is a seed. What does the seed contain? Contains the potential for the full project, for the entire four phases All of the four phases, all of the Chokhmah, Bina, Zeir Anpin, and Malchut is already contained within the Keter in a potential state. And that's the key word. It's the potential state. That's what a seed represents. Potential. The same thing applies to sperm. Sperm has the potential for a fully grown human being. However, it exists merely in potential. But just so you understand that these four phases are the foundation for the entire wisdom of Kabbalah, this is the name of God we're dealing with. We are actually learning the secrets of the name of God. Yud Hey Vav Hey. The mystics swear that if you can adequately understand the secret of these four letters, you will be able to tap into your portion in the upper worlds, and you can be a conduit for the light of Hashem in this world. So therefore, if we're looking at the name of God, the Yud corresponds to Hitpashtut Aleph, the first expansion. The first Hey corresponds to Hitgabrut Aleph, the first strengthening. And thirdly, we've got the letter Vav, which is the second expansion, and the final Hey, which is the second strengthening. In total, we've got 2 expansions and 2 strengthenings. The first expansion is the Yud. But what does it expand to? What's the destination of this Yud? In the short term, it needs to reach Hey Rishonah, the first Hey. That means that the letter Yud and the letter Hey are in a relationship. Male and female. Giver and receiver. And the same thing applies to the following 2 letters, Vav and Hey. The second expansion and the second strengthening. The Vav is the male who gives to the second Hey, which is the female that receives. So therefore, the Yud and the Vav, Chokhmah and Zeir Anpin, are masculine because they give, while the 2 Heys are feminine because they receive. We call this Zachar and Nukva. Yud is Zachar. Hey is Nekeva, is female. Vav is Zachar. And the final Hey is also Nekeva. So we got male, female, male, female. Yud, Hey, Vav, Hey. Chokhmah, Bina, Zeir Anpin, and Malchut. Asher bet hitpashtutiot nivchanot lezachrim. The 2 expansions are male. Lihyotan bechinat hashefa hanimshach mehamatzil, because they are the aspect of the flow that spreads from the emanator. They're flowing from above to below. Anything that goes from above to below is masculine. That means it's coming from above. This light of Chokhmah and Zeir Anpin is part of the same flow of light that's coming from the emanator, which is located above, and he's giving to those below. That's the Yud and the Vav. Ki Hitpashtut Aleph hi shefa or ha-Chokhmah, because Hitpashtut Aleph, the first expansion, is the expansion of the light of Chokhmah. V'hitpashtut bet hi shefa or de chasadim, and the second expansion is the shefa of light of chasadim, meaning it's the flow of the light of chasadim. Ubet hitgabruyot hen bet nukvin, and the 2 strengthenings, the 2 hitgabruts, are females. Lihyotan bechinat hitorerut shel hanetzal v'hitgabrut ratzon mikoach atzmo, because they represent the awakening of the Netzal and the intensification of the desire from its own power. The first intensification, the first strengthening, is the awakening of the desire to give. The second strengthening is the reawakening of the desire to receive that was included in Chokhmah. So that's called female, because it wants to receive. In fact, Bechina Dalid yearns to receive. It's not like the others that it's just a small amount of desire. Rather, it's a full-fledged hishtokekut, or longing to receive the light that was in Chokhmah. So the two Hitpashtuts are male, and the two Hitgabruts are female. The first Hitpashtut is the Shefa of Chokhmah. The second Hitpashtut is the Shefa of Chasadim. The first Hitgabrut is the awakening of the desire to give. The second Hitgabrut is the reawakening of the desire to receive. Asher Hitgabrut Aleph hi Hitorerut shebenetzal achar haratzon hashpia. Because we said that the first strengthening, which is Bina, is the awakening of the desire to give within the Ne'etzal, which becomes the root for the light of Chasadim. Because we know that it extends the light of Chasadim as a consequence of this awakening of the desire to give. And the Hitgabrut Bet, hi Hitorerut shebenetzal achar haratzon lakabel. Like I said, the Hitgabrut Bet, which is Malchut, second strengthening, is the awakening of the desire to receive once again. And it becomes the aspect of the vessel of reception for the Partzuf, Bekol Hashlimut Aratziot, in all of the completion of the desire. The full completion of the desire to receive is called the vessel of reception. And this is what we call in every place phase 4. So this class was a little bit shorter, but only because I wanted to make sure that you'll be able to grasp this understanding. Phase 1 is male, phase 2 is female, phase 3 is male, and phase 4 is female. The two males desire to give. The two females desire to receive from their corresponding male counterpart. The first expansion is the light of Chokhmah. The second expansion is the light of Chasadim. First strengthening is to the desire to give. Second strengthening is to the desire to receive. So, understanding the framework on this basic conceptual level will allow you to continue into the next class. If you don't understand this basic understanding, you won't be able to stay with me in the coming classes, because I'm assuming that you understand this well, you've contemplated it well, before you move on to the next class. I know most people aren't going to be doing that, so I'm just warning you in advance that the coming classes in this series will be quite difficult if you don't adequately understand what was said in this video and in all of the previous videos of this series. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed and learned something new. If you did, share it with your loved ones if you think they can benefit, which I'm sure they can, as long as they have the desire to receive this wisdom and they don't stop or give up because of how hard it may be at the beginning. And yeah, I'll see you in the next video.